up. It was so much magnetic pull that brought me here. I came for work, but I ended up staying more for the health stuff, and kind of just during this pandemic, especially having a moment to kind of reflect and look back at my life and do some stuff. Got sober, so it's been very interesting to be here and to be able to take in all that Bali has to offer in terms of health and wellness. Yeah. So yeah, the things that have helped me the most with my personal relationships, I would say, well, not personal relationships, but my mental health has been reverting back to my personal relationships. I think it's really important to look at family and friends in times where your mental health isn't doing the best, and then also to really try to create a closer bond with the people around you to develop your mental health in your space, I guess. Yeah. Sustainability is incredibly important to me for many different reasons. Being someone who looks towards the future and the habitability for future generations, I think it's so important that we, especially as people who have a large carbon input, that being through flying, really start to look at how we treat the earth and then how we can make more sustainable strides to about creating a better future. It's super important. I think as a society as a whole, we think the pandemic is bad, but climate change will be far worse. I think right now, as a music industry, with everything closed, it's kind of a different situation. But once we reopen, I think it's an essential moment in time where we can really rethink how kind of our waste and output is, especially at festivals and clubs, and look at what type of materials we use to both build the festivals and how we impact the communities around us when we go and kind of do this kind of techno-tourism. I consider myself a very conscious person. However, with any conscious person, we can always do better. We can always be better. That's the thing. The fight is never over, in kind of being better to not only ourselves but to the world. Like everyone else, I try not to use straws, like basic stuff. I recycle. Try to cut down on the products in which I do buy to be from recycled materials. Things like this. But it's step one of recycling. I think really as consumers, they put a lot of the blame on us, but really we have to look at larger corporations as a whole if we really want to cut back the environmental impact. There's things that we can do every day that have one type of kind of result, but the overall results, I think, need to come from a government kind of action and a much higher authority. I think music and the planet are kind of one in one in some type of harmonious kind of interaction with each other. It really has come from so many generations in our ancestry and kind of is in every person. So I think music has the power to heal, and healing the planet is the kind of main point that we want to kind of look forward to for future generations to enjoy music. Yeah. I think really the thing that inspires me the most about the future is the idea of children and the future generations inhabiting a place that is as beautiful as what we have here or in the place that I grew up. That's really important to me. I think I'm creating change by sitting here and talking to people like you and kind of trying to get young people and other people to understand their impact and their roles in the world. All we can do is, each one teach one and try to spread this word and these ideas to another generation of people. I've heard about a lot of different Bali situations in terms of sustainability. For one, these Indosole shoes that are made from tires and all this other stuff. The island as a whole, I know, doesn't have a recycling kind of program or anything like that, so you can see that kind of taking away, also taking its impact on the island. I think with the tourists being gone, any tourist island with such a kind of influx of people who kind of have no real connection to the place that they are. This is a big thing about kind of luxury tourism, the kind of disposability of the cultures that you come to and visit, and then you leave, I think has a really big kind of impact or whatever on the places that people go. So it's hard to really judge on what else Bali can do, me not being a Balinese person or someone who lives here, but you can see the effects of the place as a whole.